G'day and welcome back to my channel. Now it has been a while, quite a few months, I'll have to look it up actually, that since I did the last video on the Skoda and did the camo pattern. And as you can see, I don't think I showed it fully buttoned up last time. We just sort of did the camo and I showed you the method, but that's as far as I got. Well, everything got clicked together and assembled, and I painted the some of the detailed bits like the tools and the guns and the what have you. So it's been sitting here like this for months. Absolutely, probably about 6 months. I'd have to check. Now, what I thought I'd do is I'm trying very hard to get as many shelf queens finished before the end of the year. Although this one sat in my display cabinet, I've been quite happy just to look at it, as I was so happy with that tricolour camo scheme and the various methods I'd used to paint it, that I just sort of sat it there and kept looking and thought, yeah, it's good, I'll get around to weathering it one day. But that day has finally come. So we are going to weather the Skoda. So let's get on with that. And this won't be a very long video because I won't go into detail about technique. I'll just get some weathering done, and if you need to know how I did any of the effects, then I can refer you back to previous videos or even have a look in my How I Do series, and that'll show you basically how I do all the kind of things I do. Anyhow, let's dirty up this little Skoda. Alright, here we have our little Skoda, and we're going to add some of this, which is a dark brown wash for green vehicles, which should suit this because we've basically got green and brown, and we need to tone down that yellow a bit and remove that basque hair. Get to that in a sec. So we're going to use that, and I'm going to mix it 50-50 with some enamel thinner. I just got the Tamiya here. I mean, you could use odorless thinners, you could use turpentine, you can use anything that you've got that's lying around. They'll all work. Alright, I'll now mix that in my wonderfully attractive little receptacle here, which has T on it for don't mess this up, Harry. Do it properly and use it with terps. Well, it's not exactly terps. And I've already managed to get it all over my fingers, which is what usually happens. Alright, I'll just mix that up and then we'll get on with this. So, a slurp, one imperial slurp of the thinner, and then I'm going to put in, oh, that I've already made a mess. Beautiful, nice white background to make this look like it's sitting in infinity. And I've already splodged. Well, it doesn't take long, does it? So, about equal. I can usually tell by eyeballing it myself. I'll just go until I've got a solution that looks dark enough without it being too thick and treacly. But I do like to thin down this ammo mix stuff. I find it's just a little bit too heavy straight out of the bottle. Let's begin. I've already coated this. This has already had a clear coat. Still got that basque hair off there anyway. This has already had a clear coat. It had a semi-gloss that I put on it because I didn't really want it super glossy because I wasn't really going for that panel line look. I'm going for more a dirty, grungy tank look. Alright, here's the moment where it loses its prettiness and we start to wash. So, if you've ever watched my channel, I have this sort of method, which is probably similar to a grunge wash, in that I'll just simply slap it all on, this thin mix that I use, and it'll tone things down, it'll work like a filter, it'll join everything together, and then it also sticks to the rivets and the bits and the raised detail and all the rest of it, and I can come back and touch it up afterwards. I first get it all on and see what I've got, and sometimes just out of sheer accident I get nice effects and things happen that I really go, oh yes, that's good, that's what I want. Now I probably should be smart and remove that turret, and I'll do that in a sec. I'll do that when you're not here, when you're not looking. So this is basically it. We might even speed up this section so that you don't have to sit there bored out of your brain watching what I'm doing. got that sort of wash on there, I can now go in, and if there's anywhere that needs more, this is where I'm almost doing a pin wash, because now I've activated the surface by putting some thinner on there. But I might think, oh look, these aren't really showing up. So now, with 100% thinner, I'll do what everyone else knows and loves, is your basic pin wash. Although it's a bit sloppy. Yes, I'm on camera. So that'll give me a bit more. And I don't mind these streaky sort of effects that you get by accident, because they almost give a grimy kind of look to things. So I kind of let it happen. I'm a bit like that, and almost like a performance artist. I kind of let the wash happen and see where it goes. If it's really horrible and I don't like it, well, I can stop. But I find most of the time, when I let the wash just go and do what it wants to do, I end up with some really interesting effects. And quite often, people remark and go, wow, how'd you do that? Hey? And, you know, I have just asked it. I really have. Because all I've done is gone slap, 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 see where it falls. Oh, that's nice. Okay, call that an effect. And that works for me. You know, that's certainly not going to work for people who are after a specific sort of look. But I'm not really. A lot of the time, I'm just enjoying this. I do this for fun. So most of the time, I'm just painting, having a good old time, you know, on the boob tube here, chin wagging to you guys, and I'll just see where the dice falls. It doesn't really worry me. You know, I'm not that worried. But you know, if I do gaff something up, I'm off screen now, am I chatting away? If I do gaff something up like there, I've gone a bit sort of crazy along the bottom here, and that's just far too much. So I'll pull them out. And I've got a bit more thinner here. If I go, my surface is getting a little bit dry. I've got some thinner. So, you know, I can address where I'm at. See what I get with it. And I'll go for effect. And I can always come back. You can always come back and touch it up and again. So you'll see where I'm going there with at least this turret. You see I can't move my hands and talk at the same time. But it's just, a lot of my work is just feeling it through, seeing what happens. And it's probably less modelling and more sort of art, in that I just play. And most of the time you get some good stuff. And the reason is, I'm usually not going in with a preconceived idea. You know, I don't count my rivets. I don't really care. I'm looking for something that's pleasing to me. Now this is interesting. There's a layer of primer here. It's pulling off. I wonder what I primed this with. I think I primed this with Ammo MIG. Ammo MIG's primer, because I didn't have my Steinerese then. And you know what? The life colour, which has gone over the top here, that's fine. But this bloody Ammo MIG primer is lifting. I have to be very careful with how much thinner I put on that. And it shouldn't. It's an acrylic-based thinner. Well, it should be a water-based thinner, really. You know, alcohol, water-based thinner. But it's coming off. I won't panic. I'll go with that. You probably can't see. So I'll just... can you see there? There's a whole bit of bloody stuff falling off. So what I could do is... I could just add. I notice what's happening over here too. So I'll have to be very careful how I rub with the with this little brush doing my pen, because there's a little bit chipped off there. But this actually can play right into what I'm trying to do. And I often do this. When there's a cock up, I might think, well, how can this actually work with the model? Could this be something we could use? So there you go, I've just touched all that up. So instead of panicking and thinking I have to repaint and, you know, getting all worried and stressed, I just go, oh, that's interesting. Can I make it useful? Could I incorporate it? So we'll see where that goes. I mean, I can touch it up after it dries, but I'm certainly going to have to take a lot more care getting in here and, you know, adding all of this, because it seems that yellow stuff peels off. We can see here it's already scraped off, but I think that's the turret. The turret's basically run around there and scraped that off. So yeah, Very gentle. More bass cares. Here we go. Alright, look, I'll keep pottering with this, and you'll see that I'm now basically just going and adding more where I want it. I've got a basic wash on there, so now I'm actually doing, like a pen wash, I'm touching up the details and giving it a bit more. Alright, learning as I go, because yeah, that Ammo Meg primer that I put on there, which you know, was what I had at the time. This is before Steiner's days. Is this one? It's decided to lift. I'll just pop that on there for now. So I'm having to be very careful around these areas. So it's mainly only the turret. The turret's got a few chips on, but I'm going to go and chip this later. So what I end up doing is just doing the brown and the green areas, because really my initial wash looked fine on the yellow areas. It was showing up to the degree that I wanted. But obviously on the green and the brown, and this is a wash for green and brown tanks, so you know, it's quite logical that that should work. So I pretty well went fairly neat with the Ammo Meg wash on those areas that were darker. And I'll just go and, you know, now have a quick look and a little bit of a touch up here and there. But basically, it's not looking too bad. It's not looking too foul at all. It's got me the effect I want. Things are standing out. There's differences in colours and textures, and that's what I want. I don't want it looking like it is freshly painted or a model. I want it looking realistic, which means there'll be different tones and different textures, and it'll take on different hues here and there. All right, well, we'll leave that to dry, and then when I come back, probably start on doing some grime effects and then some mud effects. Here we are a few days later, and the reason why it's taken so long for me to get back to this is I had a look at the spots where the primer had lifted on the turret, and there were a few touches on the body, and although I might be able to turn it into battle damage, I didn't want to. I decided, no, I really wanted the tank to look fully painted, and although I have got a bit of weathering and washing on this, I found the primer, which had been in the back of my paint stash. You can see it's all kind of gunky, because I hadn't really used it since getting Steiner's. Can't even speak. Mouth's all bubbly. Yeah, ever since I've started using Steiner's, all my old primers, I've just forgotten about them because Steiner's is the duck's nuts. But anyhow, I used this because I needed colour match, and I managed to paint in to the spots where the primer had lifted, and it bedded down beautifully, levelled out, and toned in perfectly. So then I thought, well, what I should do at this point is I'll protect it. So I hit the whole thing with the Tamiya rattle can, flat clear, and that's perfect stuff for getting a quick coat on without bothering to muck up my airbrush and get it all clogged with bloody varnishes, which is what happened with the junkie. So yeah, I went back to the rattle cam. It's a quick solution, it's an easy solution, worked well. And then I hit everything with a bit of panel line and touched it all up. That allowed me to even get in and colour match. Well, I should tell a lie. I think I went back to the same green for brown wash, or brown for green wash, or what it was, and I did touch up the areas that I'd repainted. But the result is you can't really tell that I have touched up and repainted. Everything's come up really nicely. The tank's got different coloured areas of different shades of stains and weathering and washing. You know, it's a big mess, but it's the mess I wanted. The details popped out. More of that will happen shortly, but I've got the effect that I wanted, which was to basically get the all the little rivets to pop out, but also wanted to grime this up a bit, and I've achieved all of that. It's a level that originally I wasn't going to, but as I sort of started putting this stuff on, I really loved the effects I was getting, so this is where I've ended up. So pretty happy with that so far. Still might do a little bit of touching up, but so far very happy with the look. What's next to do? Well, I'm going to do a bit of chipping, and then I'm going to fling a whole lot of mud over this, and I might even do a little bit of dry brushing just to basically add a few little sort of warm metal silvery effects and lighten up a few areas. So let me get on with that. Here we are, after an hour or so of chipping later and a little bit of dry brushing. I went over the edges with a little bit of silver and dry brushed those in, which also tends to bring up all of those bolts, rivets. Now you can count them. I might have gone a little crazy with my chipping. I don't know, I was having so much fun and I kind of liked the look I was getting that it got a lot more chips than I was first planning. But that'll be fine, and I might even add a little bit of a rusty wash down the track. But I'm really pleased with the look that I got. It's a bit more excessive, as I say, than I planned, but quite happy with that. I also toned down the straps here for the muffler, because they were sort of an orange colour. I don't know how that happened. I think they started off as the primer sort of yellow colour, and then had nothing but a bit of a brown wash, so I ended up orange. So threw a little bit of grey on them, and then I dry brushed a bit of the silver. I think they've toned in nicely. So overall now, I'm pretty happy with this look. She's a bit battered up and a bit sort of scratched, but I'm pleased with that. It's turned out nice. And as I said previously, I often just let things go, see where they go, go with the flow. And although I sort of have an idea what I'm doing, most of the time I don't. I just play, because my hobby for me is just fun. It's what I do to relax and what I do to relieve myself of the frustrations of the day, talking to dickheads on Facebook. You know what I mean. So I'll often just muck around, see what happens. And that's exactly what I've done with this one. So I've ended up with a whole lot of effects and a look that I hadn't really planned, but now I'm really pleased. So there you go. So all I can say is sometimes maybe with your hobby, just go with the flow, have some fun, just experiment, see where it takes you, and you never know. You might end up with something that quite surprises you like this. All right, next I'll need some mud, but before I do that, what I really need to do with this is get that back chain on. Now, I've got the chain, it's a tow cable, you know what I mean, you know what I'm saying, it's a chain when it's on a ship, they all look the bloody same to me. That's the one that came with the kit, and I was trying to do the candle bendy thing, and I'm never good at that. Anyhow, it looks pretty ratchet, So that sits on the back here, because if you've watched the earlier episodes, I put a whole lot of PE on this, so there's a whole lot of little PE clasps there to hold this in place. So that fits there, but it's dreadful. What I can rescue out of this is the hooks are not too bad. They're not too bad. I can probably use those, and I've kept both of those. There. What I'm going to do is, instead of that horrible plastic, which is just pretty ordinary, I have some copper wire here, which I'm going to use for the tow cable, which is much nicer. And this is actually left over from the Skoda. So what I'm going to do now is show you how I would use this copper wire and the leftover hooks and produce a nice little tow cable for the back here that fits perfectly. I have my cable and the leftover plastic parts there. So the first thing I'll do is, I don't need the plastic cable, so I'll remove that. Now normally when I'd attach a cable to something, I'd probably drill out the hole, or if you're lucky to get aftermarket, then there's a hole in there that you can push the cable into. But unfortunately I don't have any, well, I can't find any other aftermarket hooks lying around. I might have some somewhere, but these were the ones that came with the kit, and I kind of like these, so I'm going to have to try and figure out a way. And what I think I might do is just scratch out a little bit of plastic in there, and then I'll be able to attach the attach them with just a little bit of indent so I get in there. But the first thing I need to do is really replicate that shape with the cable. So let me just cut off my other hook, which I'll tidy up off camera. And what I need is that shape. And because I've already tried to bend it, I know that's roughly right, I can template off that. You could try and template off the model, and that can be done by people with steadier hands than me. Now I know that the two little hooks overlap here. So what I'll do is, let's see, I need a bend there. So, using a very precise system, I just simply put a bend in it. Alright, so I need a bend there. I'll need, I don't mind if there's a bit of a sort of wobbliness in this. I need a bend there. And I can double check that on here with the clips. Yep, that's it, the bend goes there. So that's number 2. And then width-wise, well, we can measure it on the model. I think it might make more sense if I can somehow get that to sit on the little hooks, and then I'll know it's exactly the right shape. Talk about yourselves. It's fumbling fingers time here for Harry, and I'm never very good at these sort of things. Supposed to be a hook there somewhere. Okay, there's that hook there. Just goes through. Well, it'd help if I didn't have everything bloody twisted, would it? So there's that hook there, so I need a bend there. Being copper wire, if you kind of bugger it up, it's usually not too hard to fix. Alright, so far that's not looking too bad. And I'll need a bend there. So having those PE class on there meant I had a bit of purchase. So all I could do is have a little bit of overlap there, because I remember from the original one, all it did was overlap. It was just a simple, careful not to cut both of them, simple thing. So probably shouldn't use these. I use the back of them. So that is probably what I want. Clips on there, clips on there, and clips on that one. And it'll sort of just loop over there. So that will be kind of it, and that won't be too bad. And the fact that it isn't perfectly straight, I prefer it. It looks much more natural. It looks how it should. Funny sort of boring sort of shape, but that apparently is how it goes. Alright, so what I've got to do now is I'll scallop out those little shapes so I can see how I glue the cable in, and we'll put it all together. So that wasn't so hard, was it? I mean, it's just a matter of a bit of patience, a bit of planning. So by cutting out those little holes underneath, gave me little troughs for the cables to run into, and then I just feathered the end of them a little bit flat. So that'll all disappear and hide, and you'll never know. So the truth now is, will it fit? Should do. It's got a little bit bent out of shape while I was playing around with those hooks, but these little claspy things here should be in their correct positions. Because we measured it all up. If it'll cooperate. Actually, they're a bit loose at the moment because I bent them up. Well, there you go. That's going to. I'll need to probably CA glue that down. Probably put that one over that one. There we are. And I thought I'd go for more a sort of a crossover kind of look, which to me was a little more interesting. The actual drawings on the kit show them just running straight up the top here, but that's kind of boring. I was going to hide all these nice little hinges that I'd worked on. So I'm going to go for this sort of crossover look. What the heck, I don't care. Alright, that's got to go and get some primer on it, and then I'm going to flick some mud all over it, well, in various places that needs on this tank, and we're just about finished. Might have taken me 18 months, 6 months to build it, put the camo on, and then a year to sit and think, oh, I should get around to doing something with that. But she is finally done. There's my little Skoda. And this, of course, was a gift sent to me by my mate Pete. Pete the Pirate, yes. He knows who he is. Good on you, Pete. Now, there's things wrong with it. Who cares? I had fun building it, and I really enjoyed this kit, actually. It really was quite a nice one to get your teeth around. And, I enjoyed making the little bogies. They were so much fun, and I put the PN on and classed up all these tools. And I even had an interior sent to me by Ennis. Good on you, Ennis, if you're watching. And, mate, don't worry, because I've bought another one of these kits. I bought a later version, which is actually the Scout one or something like that. It doesn't have a turret. But actually there's a turret in the kit, so I might make up the actual German version next time and put the full interior in. Yeah, but anyhow, this one's turned out fine. I'm really happy with my result. I've got all the effects that I wanted. Still see that lovely camo scheme. Now the final result with that tow cable, well, I hit it with some Tamiya Gunship Grey primer. Well, Tamiya Gunship Grey, lacquer stuff, liquor lacquer. And that doesn't take long to dry, so basically by the time I was screwing around and doing most of the other mud, it was dry. I could straight away dry brush on a little bit of life colour silver, which therefore brought out all the edges of the metal and the highlights. And then I just tapped on a little bit of Tamiya black panel line wash just to bring it out. Simple as that, nothing too fancy. And then you just saw I splattered up the mud, and I went pretty muddy at the back here because the back would churn up and throw things everywhere. As you know, the back of vehicles usually gets the worst of it because it all sort of flicks up. Well, that's what I think, although I think these things are probably bloody front wheel drive. Who cares? The back of mine, the arse is muddy, and that's how I wanted it. So that's the look I've got. So there's a fine overspray. If you might have noticed when I was doing the mud, there's two techniques. One is pulling towards you with a brush, which gives you a fine lot of dots. The other way is to invert the brush and flick back along the brush's stem with fairly wet solution. That gives you big, thick dots. And that's really handy when you're doing the dark coloured mud, which I do first. So I did the dark colour. And then when I go to the light colour, I switch to the other technique usually, and I put the light dots on. Now I allow the overspray. I go a little bit wider and higher with the lighter colour of mud, and that flicks onto the body and gives you a little bit of slight sort of buffing, which then tones down a few of your other obtuse effects. Harry Houdini, you're gone crazy. Anyhow, it's all fun. You need to experiment. You need to sort of not be scared of these techniques. Have a go. Just have a blast at them. You never know where they'll take you. And if you get them wrong, well, just sort of wipe them off or improvise with it. Take it where it goes. You can't go wrong. All right, well, there she is. The Skoda LT version 35. She's done. She's complete. I say that, but I might come back and find some things I've missed and touch up a few rust spots another day. Often I let a model sit for about a month, and then I'll come back and have a look and go, oh, missed that, oh. But for the moment, I'm happy, that's it. I'll end this video now, and I'll put a whole lot of photos as we go out, so you can get some nice still shots and clearly see some of the detail I've put into this. All right, well, that's it. It's goodbye from Australia, and it's hooroo from Harry Houdini.